Okay, let's practice. So let's round 2 to the nearest 10. So if we round 2 to the nearest 10, is 2 closer to 0 or closer to 10? Tuyeng, is 2 closer to 0 or closer to 10?
To 10.
Is it closer to 10?
Yeah.
So from 0 to 10, how many steps away or units away does 2 from 10?
10.
Okay, from 2, let's count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 8 units away from 10. But for 0, how many units away is 2? So 2, 1, 0. So how many? It's only 2 units away to 0. Is it closer to 2 or closer to 10?
Closer to.
Is it closer to 0 or closer to 10? Okay, who can help too? Who can help too? Okay, Zakir. Sorry. Is 2 closer to?
0.
Is 2 closer to 0 or closer to 10?
0.
0. So when we round off 2 to the nearest 10, it becomes 0 because it is closer to 0. So we round down. Okay, Zachariah, how about 5? Is it closer to 0 or closer to 10?
Closer to 10.
10, because it's midpoint, halfway. So if it is halfway, then we round up. So 5 becomes 10, not 0. Okay, good job. Okay, so 2 becomes 0 if we round to the nearest 10, and 5 becomes 10. How about 7? Okay. How about 7? El Nathan, when we round 7 to the nearest 10, does it become 0 or it becomes 10? El Nathan, okay, answer my question first. Is 7 closer to 0 or closer to 10?
10.
Closer to 10. So when we round 7 to the nearest 10, it becomes 0 or it becomes 10? El Nathan.
10.
10. Very good. So we round up and 7 becomes 10. How about 9? Okay, your turn, Nathan. Nathan, look at 9. Is 9 closer to 0 or closer to 10?
Nathan, is 9 closer to 0?
Is 9 closer to 0 or closer to 10?
Which
10.
one? Say that again.
9.
Which one is
Yeah,
9 closer
the
to
number is
0?
9. Is it closer
0.
to 0 or closer to 10?
10.
10. Very good. So when we round 9 to the nearest 10, it becomes 10. Okay? Now let's take a look at number 14. So we will round 14 to the nearest 10. So that means either we round it to 10 or it becomes 20. All right? So what's our number line? Our number line starts from 10 to 20. Okay, so for 14, okay, it's your turn, Elijah. Elijah, when we round, is 14 closer to 10 or closer to 20? Elijah, can you move closer to the Chromebook so I can hear you? I cannot hear you, my dear. Is 14 closer to 10 or closer to 20? Come again, please. Okay, so if your answer is 10, show me one finger. If you answer 20, show me two fingers. Is 14 closer to 10 or closer to 20? Oh, you're showing one, that means 10. Very good. That's correct. Okay. 14 is closer to 10. So when we round off 14 to the nearest 10, 14 becomes 10. Why? Because 4 is below the halfway point, which is 5. So 15 is the halfway point. So since 14 is below the halfway point, 14 becomes 10. All right? How about 16? Okay, so let's round 16 to the nearest 10. Good job, Elijah. Okay, it's your turn, Anaya. Anaya, so round 16 to the nearest 10. Is 16 closer to 10 or closer to 20?
10.
Okay, let's count. Anaya, look at my fingers, okay? We will count from 16 to 10. 1, 2, 3, oh, I'm sorry. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So how many units away? 16 to 10. 6,
6.
right? Now, let's count how many units away is 16 to 20. Okay, let's count. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's only 4 units away to 20.
Oh.
So is 16 closer to 10 or closer to 20?
20.
20. Okay, so when we round 16 to the nearest 10, what happens to 16? Come again, my dear?
It's
It
20.
It becomes, does 16 become 10 or become 20?
20.
Tw-
20.
20, very good. So when we round 16 to the nearest 10, it becomes 20 because it is above the halfway point. What is the halfway point for 10 and 20? It's 15, right? So 16 is above the halfway point, so it becomes 20. All right? Okay, next, let's take a look at 21. Okay, so we will run 21 to the nearest 10 again. So that means the number line will start from 20 up to 30. Okay, your turn, Chris. Is 21 closer to 20 or closer to 30?
21.
Is it closer to 20 or to 30?
Closer.
Okay, let's count from 21 to 20. Okay, we will count back. Okay, ready? 21, 20. So how many units away from 21 to 20? How many units away? Only one, right? So from 21 to 30, we will count how many units? Chris, look at the screen. Okay, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So how many units away from 31 to 30? It's 9 units away. So is 21 closer to 20? Chris, look at the screen, my dear. Is 21 closer to 20 or closer to 30?
Closer to 20 or closer to 30? Closer to 30. Say closer, say it. Closer to 20.
Very good. So 21 is just a unit away from 20, so it is closer to 20. So when we round 21 to the nearest 10, 21 becomes 20. Okay? Okay, next. 38. Okay, so when we round 38 to the nearest 10, what happens to 38? Let me call Jaden. Jaden, let's round 38 to the nearest 10. What is the answer?
40.
40. Very good, Jaden. Good job. Why 40? Because 38 is closer to 40 than 30. And 38 is above the halfway point, which is 35. It is above 35, so we round 38 to 40 if we round it to the nearest 10. Okay, next. Very good, Jaden. Good job. Okay, next. Tuyeng. 2. Okay, look at 45. So when we round 45 to the nearest 10, what happens to 45? Does it become 40 or become 50?
50.
Very good. Good job. 50. Why 50? Because 45 is the halfway point between 40 and 50. So if it is the midpoint or halfway point, we round up. And when we round up, 45 becomes 50. Okay? Okay, good. Good job, too. Next. Okay, who else? Let me call. Okay, let me admit, look. Okay. Let me call Zakir again. Zakir, look at the next number. It's 54. So when we round 54 to the nearest 10, what happens to 54? What number does it become?
50.
Can you make it louder, my dear? 50. Very good. 50. Why? Because 50 is 54 is closer to 50 than 60. Remember, 54 is below the halfway point 55, right? So since it's below the halfway point, we round down. So what happens to 54? When we round to the nearest 10, it becomes 50. Okay? Next. 63. Okay, your turn, Sakaraya. So what happens to 63 when we round this to the nearest 10? 60. Good job. 60. Why? Because 63 falls below the halfway point, which is 65. So it is closer to 60 than 70. Okay? So when we round 63 to the nearest 10, it becomes 60. Good job. Now, let's take a look at the next number, 76. Okay, it's you. It's your turn. Anaya. Anaya, your turn. 76. Is 76 closer to 70 or 80? 80. Okay, it's closer to 80. So when we round 76 to the nearest 10, 76 becomes 80. Why? Because 76 is above the halfway point, which is 75. So that means we round up. And 76 is closer to 80, so it becomes 80. Okay? Next, 81. Okay, Elijah, your turn now. Okay, your turn, my dear. What if we round 81 to the nearest 10, what happens to 81? Does it become 80 or 90? 80. Okay, because it is closer to 80 than 90, and 81 is below the midway, the midpoint or halfway point. So it is 80. All right, good job. Next, 87. Okay, look, your turn. Come on, my dear. Okay, look at the screen, my dear. The number is 87. Is 87 closer to 80 or closer to 90?
90.
90. Good job, Luke. 87 is closer to 90. That's why when we round 87 to the nearest 10, it becomes 90. Very good, Luke. Good job. Okay, next, 95. Okay, your turn. Nathan, your turn now. Okay, Nathan, look at the number 95. Is 95 closer to 90 or closer to 100?
Up or down?
Up,
Up.
up. Very good. I know what you mean. Up, round up. Why? Because 95 is the midpoint between 90 and 100. So if it is a midpoint or halfway point, we round up. Good job, Nathan. We round up. So if we round up, what happens to 95? Does 95 become 90 or 100? Welcome, Ethan.
Do we have 90 or
Let me see. Nathan, does 95 become 90 or 100? If we round up, you said up. What happens to 95? Does it become 90 or 100?
do we round up to 100 or do we go down to 90? Nathan,
Nathan, do we round up to 100 or do we round down to 90 for 95?
95.
So what
No.
happens to 95? Do we round up?
we start with
You said we round up. So if we round up, does it become 90 or 100?
100.
Very good. So we round up. So it becomes 100. Why? 95 is the halfway point between 90 and 100. So when we round this to the nearest 10, it doesn't become 90. We have to round up so it becomes 100. Okay, good job, Nathan. Okay, next. Your turn, Ethan. Welcome, Ethan. Okay, Ethan. So when we round 99 to the nearest 10, does it become 90 or 100? Okay, Ethan, let's take a look at the number. Is 99 closer to 90 or closer to 100? Ethan, is 99 closer to 90 or closer to 100? Ethan, are you there? Okay, let's count. Ethan, 99. Okay, 99. So we will count 99 to 100. Okay, 99, 100. So how many units away? Only 1 unit away. 99 is only 1 unit away to 100. How about to 90? Okay, let's count. 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, 90. So how many units away from 90 is 99? It's 9 units away. So what happens to 99? Do we round up or do we round down? Ethan, your turn. Do we round up or do we round down for 99? I cannot hear you, my dear. Say the word, up or down? Up. Okay, so it's up. So 99 becomes 100. Okay, 99 becomes 100. Okay, now we will proceed to rounding numbers to the nearest 100. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so the numbers are, okay, I'm gonna mute you, okay? So the numbers are 100 and 200. That's the number you see on the number line. So we will round to the nearest 100. So look at the green dot, this one. So this falls below the halfway point. What is the halfway point between 100 and 200? Sakir, what is the halfway point? Yes, my dear, I cannot hear you. What is the halfway point? Between 100 and 200. What is the midpoint or halfway point? 150. Okay, so this is the midpoint or halfway point. So where do you see the dot? On your left, right? So all numbers from 100 to 149 are numbers below the halfway point. Okay? So does this number below the halfway point? Yes. So if it is below the halfway point, look at the halfway point. This one is the halfway point. So on your left are the numbers below the halfway point. So that means we round down. Okay, we round down. If the numbers fall below the halfway point, let me say halfway point, the middle, the very middle, okay? So if all the numbers that fall below this halfway point, we always round down. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers below the halfway point, aside from this one. Is 110 below the halfway point? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, 110. So that means we round down. So what happens to 110 when we round that to the nearest 100? It becomes 100. Very good. Yeah, good job. Okay. Tuyeng, 2. Is 120 below the halfway point? Yes or no? Tuyeng. Tuyeng, my dear, look at the screen. Is 120 below the halfway point? This is 120. Is it below the halfway point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it's below the halfway point. That means we round down. So 120 becomes 100. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the next example. Okay, let's take a look at this example. So you can find a dot here. The midpoint is 150, right? So the midpoint is 150. And you see the dot on your right. Okay, the green dot on your right. So that means it is above the halfway point. So if the number is above the halfway point, El Nathan, if the number is above the halfway point, do we round down or do we round up? El Nathan, if the number is above the halfway point, do we round down or do we round up?
Up.
Up, very good. So we round up. So if we have 178 here, what happens to 178? Does it becomes 100 or 200? So you said round up, 200. Good job, El Nathan. Good job. Okay, now let's take a look at this example, at this practice.
It's easy.
Yep. So the numbers are 300 and 400. Okay? And the midpoint is 350. The halfway point is 350. Okay. So find 305 on the number line. So where is 305 here? Okay, I'm gonna put 300, the green button here. So 305 is between 300 and 310. Okay, so that is 305. Okay, now question. Let me look at, okay, Anaya. Okay, so this is 305. Does 305 fall below the halfway point? Yes or no? Yes. Anaya said yes. Okay. So does 305 fall at or above the halfway point? Yes or no? Anaya? I cannot hear you. Does 305 fall or above? Is it above the halfway point? Yes or no? No. Okay, no, because it is below the halfway point. Now, if it is below the halfway point, do we round up or do we round down? Anaya? We round down. So if we round down, what happens to 305? Does it become 300 or 400? Good job. It becomes 300. All right. Good job, Anaya. Next. Okay, it's your turn. Jaden. Jaden, it's your turn. Jaden. Okay, look at the number line. 300 and 400. Over
Yeah.
Jaden. Okay. So does 305 fall below the halfway point?
Yes.
Yes. Good job. Next. Does 305 fall at or above the halfway point?
Yes.
Jaden?
No.
No. Okay. So do we round up for 305? Do we round up or down? Round down. So what happens to 305?
Round to
300.
300. Good job, Jaden. Okay. Next. Next. Let me see who else is there. Okay, Ethan. Ethan, your turn, my dear. So you see the number 400 and 500. What is the midpoint for 400 and 500? 450, okay, Ethan? So find 425 on the number line. So we will find 425. So that means 425 is between 420 and 430. Ethan, look at your screen, my dear. Okay, here is 425. Now, does 425 fall below the halfway point? Is it below the halfway point? Yes or no? Yes, okay, good. Good. Now, another question. Does 425 fall at or above the halfway point? Is it above? You said it's below. Yes. How about, is it above or at? Yes or no? Ethan. I cannot hear you, my dear. No? Okay, no. Now, Ethan, does Chris round up or down? If it is below the halfway point, do we round down or do we round up? Can you show me your finger? Down or up? Down or up? Up. Do we round up for 425? Down. Okay, we round down. So what happens to 425, Ethan? Does it become 400 or 500?
500.
What number? 400 or 500?
500.
400. Okay, good job. Okay, next. Next. Okay, Chris, it's your turn. Chris, look at the screen. Okay, so this is 425. So on the number line, this is 425. It is found between 420 and 430, okay? And does 425 fall below the halfway point? What is the halfway point between 400 and 500? It's 450. So all the numbers on your left fall below the halfway point. All the numbers on your right fall above the halfway point. So is 425 below the halfway point or fall below the halfway point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Chris said yes. Now, if it is yes, now, does 425 fall at or above the halfway point?
No.
No. Okay, good job. So does Chris round up or down? Do you round up or down?
Up. Around up.
Chris, look at the number line. The number is here. So do we round down or do we round up?
Down.
Down. Okay, because it's below the halfway point, that means we round down. So what happens to 425? Does it become 400 or 500?
500.
We round down. Look at the number.
400.
400. Look at the number, Chris. This is the midpoint. When we round down, the number is 400. If we round up, the number is 500. Since we round down, so the number becomes 400. Okay? Because we round down. Okay, look at the number again. So it's 600 and 700. And what is the halfway point for 600 and 700? Okay, your turn, Nathan. So what is the halfway point between 600 and 700? Let me make it bigger so you can see.
Nathan,
Nathan,
what's the halfway point?
what is the halfway point of 600 and 700?
650. No.
Very good. 650. That's the halfway point. Okay. Now we will be looking for 675. Okay. So 675 is between 670 and 680. Okay. So we will put the green dot here because we're looking for 675. Now, Nathan, look at the number line. Does 675 fall below the halfway point? Is it below the halfway point? Yes or no?
No.
No. Why? Because it's on your right. It's above. Okay, now, Nathan, another question. You're not done yet, my dear. Does 675, look at 675, fall at or above the halfway point? Is it above the halfway point, which is 650? Yes or no?
She's asking, is it more than 650?
Come on, my dear. Come on, my dear. Look at the number. This is the green dot. This is 675.
Okay. I'm busy.
No,
What?
you're not busy. You're in class.
Huh?
Nathan, this is
No.
the number. Is it more than 650? Look, here's 650. Is this more?
No.
Look, Miss.
Yes.
Okay, so 675 fall at or above the halfway point, which is 650. 675 is here, so it is above. Okay, so the answer is yes. Okay, Nathan. So if it is yes, do we round up or do we round down? If it is above the halfway point, do we round up or do we round down?
Don't.
We will go back to 600.
Yes.
So we round down to 600 or we round up to 700?
700.
Very good. So we round up and then 675 becomes 700. Okay. So we round up. Since 675 is above the halfway point, which is 650, we round up. And if we round up, 675 becomes 700. Okay, we have 1 more minute left. Okay, I'm gonna finish this page. This is the same. And then we will see each other again at 1 o'clock for language arts, okay? So 600 and 700, you see on the number line. 650 is the halfway point, and 675 is here. So 675, since it's on your right, it's 675 fall above the halfway point. So it's not below, and it is above. Okay, so if it is above